The first technique that I'll be teaching you today is how to roll out and stretch the muscles on the front of the chest, called the pec major and minor. Now, these muscles play a huge role in neck and shoulder tightness, specifically the tightness you might feel up here, because they tend to shorten pulling on the top and the back. So typically, although we feel it in the back and the top, these muscles are really kind of the key culprits here. So I like starting with this technique. So before performing any technique, we want to start by just bringing a little bit of friction and blood flow into the muscle we'll be rolling out, because we're about to go pretty deep into the muscle tissue. So to start, just with a hand, I'm going to gently massage little circles the muscle of the pec. So this muscle runs from the sternum all the way to the inside of the shoulder bone. So yeah, about 30 seconds of just circles here. And this is also a great technique to use to check in with how the muscle's feeling. See if you already notice any tender areas just from using your hands to self-massage. Cool. Once we've done that for about 30 seconds, we're ready to bring the lacrosse ball or tennis ball into the mix. So for the first technique, we're going to be rolling the ball over the entire pec major muscle to warm it up. So now I only want to be on muscle when I'm using the ball. I never want to be on bone. So we want to make sure we're on the muscle just towards the inside of the sternum, all the way to the inside of the crease between the arm bone and the shoulder. So starting by placing the ball on the inside of that pec major muscle, I'm going to lean my body weight into the wall, and then I'm moving my body side to side from one end of the muscle to the other. And I'm really taking this time to check in with how I'm feeling. This is a little more intense than our finger palpations. So making sure that muscle stays relaxed as I move over the ball. And you might want to shift it down a little bit to get the lower portions of the muscle fibers. And once you find areas that feel a little more tender or sticky, like there's a knot there, you can stop, hold the ball there, and gently rock up and down. It's called cross fiber friction. It's a massage technique that we use quite often. So just hanging out there. Once you feel like the intensity has subsided significantly, you can move to a different spot, then rock up and down there. Our next technique is going to be releasing the pec minor. The first step is finding this muscle, and it's a deeper muscle that runs underneath the pec major. So I like to just have my arm out in a 90-degree angle, and then I'll start palpating, basically finding that indentation into where my shoulder bone meets the torso. And usually in this indentation, I can feel a little ball of extra muscle, or just kind of feels a little uncomfortable. If you can't find that, then an extra move that you can do to locate this pec minor is to internally and externally rotate the arm, and then you'll feel that muscle bulging. So feel free to kind of move your hands, palpating different spots until you feel, ooh, here it is for me. So for our next technique, instead of moving the body over the ball, we're going to be holding the ball statically on this point. And from here, we're going to add arm movements. So starting with the elbow bent 90 degrees to extending the arm overhead, like this. So I'll show you what that looks like against the wall. Again, locating that spot, placing the ball there. I'm going to lean against the wall. And without moving my body, now the arm comes to overhead while I keep that ball locked in to that spot. Now you'll probably find that you can't extend the arm all the way upwards because the ball is blocking the muscle to let you do that. And that's perfectly fine. That's actually a sign that you're in the right spot. So I recommend doing this about 5 times and then coming out of it. Next up, we're going to stretch the pec major and minor. So to set up for the stretch, you want to either be in a doorway or towards the edge of a wall where you have a little bit of space to move. So I'm going to set up my arm in that 90-degree angle, just like I did in that pec minor release. I want to make sure both my elbow and my wrists are on the edge of the wall, while my upper arm is completely off of it. Keeping the forearm stable on the wall, I'm going to step through, leaning this shoulder forward so that I get a stretch here in the front. I recommend holding this for about 30 seconds here. Once you've done that, then you can slide your elbow an inch higher. And again, lean forward. So now you're getting a little bit of the upper fibers into that stretch.